Hello and hi, welcome. I will just prepare you for matriculation, matura. And I mean here verbal tests. So you are interviewed and feel yourself like taking part in interviews. Just relax, take it easy. All right, and this whole program right now will be only for you. This is not only for our students or pupils in secondary schools, those younger so far, but also for those adults. Adult students or who are working and desire to take classes in evenings. So evening classes and weekends, just weekend classes in extramural classes, secondary school's degree. I would just present you first of all some examples or tasks that hold good for our secondary level, yet it is a basic level with set 1, set 2, and so on, what they required to have during examining you. All right, so first exercise, the so-called sterujące conversations, or sterowane. Yeah, and you will just acknowledge yourself with description of some situations. I'll give you now 3 situations at first, and what is your opinion? How will you play these roles? Feel like an actor. Close your eyes. Imagine the situations being spoken to you, being described to you, just in pictures. Try to feel it. Live through it. That will be your role. So first of all, for example, you are in Scotland, yes, and you will choose a trip to the mountains, and you will just have a halt. You will stop in a small hotel, and before you leave your home for those mountains, you will just ring up. You will call your chosen hotel, and in the course of your conversation with receptionist, you will just have following tasks. So give him an information. Inform him when and for how long you would just stay, and get known. What attractions for tourists in your age will be possible to have in the surroundings, and The third task will be emphasize what you are particular about during your stay and explain why. So, expound why. Now, I will give you example for it, for these three tasks that I've mentioned. Alright, so examiner, I might be the one, will ask you, saying, Black Ship Hotel, can I help you? I'm playing this receptionist. What will you tell him per phone? And you're all ears. Paying attention, please. Yes, good morning. I'd like to stay in your hotel for 4 days next week, starting from Wednesday the 25th. I am calling to find out if there is a single room that I could book. And the receptionist is listening to you, what you have said, and responds, let me check. Yeah, so no problem. We really have visitors staying in single rooms, so there'll be one. And now is your turn. You'll be speaking on. And you say, great. And paying attention now, my lovely student. Now you have another task that I have mentioned to you in advance. You must just get know. You must get to know what attractions for tourists in your age will be possible in the surroundings. So you start now. Great. I was also wondering if there are any attractions for people my age, not a playground or swings, but something to do for a 20-year-old or 18-year-old staying alone. Do you know of anything? And the receptionist will respond to you. Well, we have some leisure facilities in our hotel. A pool table, a drink bar where you can play darts. And on Saturdays, we usually have a dance if you're interested. And now, my student, is your turn. That's fantastic. But my lovely student, you will pay attention now, please, because you have another task. You have the third task that I asked you for, and that is that you emphasize, that you stress the magnitude, the meaning, what you are particular for, especially. So particularly for the time being when you stay there, and explain why. Yes, so that is your turn now. That's fantastic. There is one more thing though. I hope there is a TV set in the room, or at least in the lounge or bar. There will be European football championships on the telly at the end of the month, and I simply must watch them. I am a big football fan, you see. Don't worry. There is a TV set in the bar. I guess everyone will be watching. So, my student or students, lovely pupils, this was the first example of stirred conversations. I will give you just the second one in a while, but you can create yourself a picture how it runs and try to feel yourself like an actor on a stage, and try to treat it as you would play an actorship. And that is good for you and for life. Alright, I'll give you in this basic level that we have just another example or task from this set 1. And this is a relationing of events. And you are in London, capital of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, and you have earned some money, and you decided to go to popular or famous shop or store on the very first day of summer sell-out action. Sell-out. After your return, you relate to your partner you live with in one apartment. Excuse me, in America they say apartment, in one flat or room, let's say, or lodging. First of all, which shop you have purchased in or bought in, or what shop you have chosen, that this sellout action took place, and what you wanted to buy, what you did want to purchase. And number 2, what time did you stand in a queue, in a line, and when did you start to busy the line, to be there, and how many people were there standing in the line, in a queue. And number 3, did you have or let's say you will imagine, you will create a stressful or unpleasant situation or event in this store or shop. All right. So you will create that situation. Just imagine yourself. You can go, on black. That means you can just say jokes about that as they were real. So you can go in black, you can darken it. Alright, so I gave you 3 tasks for matriculations, matriculation or matriculational exam, and this is your role. You can start like, what a day! I am telling you. You see, I went to this clothes shop downtown, HM, for example, as I wanted to get some t-shirts on the first day of the summer sale. Never again, I swear. And I might ask you, as an examiner or interviewer, why? What happened, my lovely student? And you say, oh, wait a minute, my student. First of all, we have fulfilled the first task. What you told me about just a while ago, you told me about the shop or store where the sellout took place and what you wanted to purchase, to buy. And now we come to the second task that I told you about. What time you stepped into the line, at what time, and how many people were standing there in the line. And you start. Well, you say, well, I knew it was a popular shop, so I went there early in the morning. I started queuing at 6 a.m. and don't think I was the first person there. Oh no, there were about 50 people already. Before they opened the shop at 9, there was a crowd of about 200 people. Alright, my lovely student, and now we come now to the third task. I will remind you again what unpleasant event took place in the shop or store, or maybe a supermarket or department store. Department store is more in America, but this is a supermarket. All right, so with a branch of that clothing, you know. And as an examiner, I will give you a question like, I don't believe it. And then what? And you respond, when the door opened, they just rushed in. Everyone ran up in the shelves into racks, and all of a sudden I tripped over something or someone pushed me. I don't know. The bottom line is I hit the floor with my head, and as soon as I came round, I decided it was too much. Can you see this bump on my head? Of course, I didn't buy anything. Yeah, my lovely students, that's all. Alright, from the exercise, my lovely students, we have done now obtaining and giving information or pieces of information, and also relating of events. And now we have the third one to this task one or exercise one, negotiating. Okay, imagine yourself that you leave for a few months in the course of exchange, students exchange, and you can leave. You have this possibility to live in student's house or in academic hostel, you name it. Alone, living alone, or you can look for for a flat room to be let. And you have also one other option, and this is with your tenant or roommate. You agree with one another concerning the flat that you will look for. And I'll give you 3 tasks here, or under tasks to this main task for negotiating. And this is, first of all, try to suggest taking the apartment or flat in the center close to this so-called campus. Or your school or college or university. But the second is, don't agree with argument of your roommate that this will be too expensive. If he's against it, that the price is too high, and try to justify your own view, your own opinion about it, why it is so. And the third task to this negotiating for this described situation, try to persuade him, to bring him to your side, why it is worth a while to live in the center. So you try to win his side or him to your side, persuading him, trying to persuade him why it is worth, why it is useful or good to live in the center. All right, so you start now in this task of negotiating, and you give a question. Why don't we look for a flat close to our college in the center? What do you think? And I will respond to you as examiner. In the center, this is going to cost a fortune. All right. And now, you see, this was the first when you suggested just having an apartment in the center, renting apartment in the center, close to the college. And now we come to the second task, where I asked you not to agree with an argument of your roommate that the cost will be too high, and try to justify your view. All right, so now attention, please. You are talking. No, I don't think so. I've seen flats for rent advertised, and it doesn't matter very much where the flat is, but how comfortable it is. If we don't want to spend too much, we don't need to look for a flat with 2 bathrooms and a fireplace. We can easily afford a decent place to live in. All right, that is the second point. And the third point I mentioned already, you must persuade him or her, your roommate, no matter if that is a male or female, why it is good, why it is worth the while to live in the center. And attention now, as an examiner playing the role of your roommate, I give you the following question. Are you sure? And you, my lovely student, respond, yes, absolutely. And think of all these places within the walking distance. The cinema, shopping center, and of course, our college. If the flat is on a high floor, we won't even hear the traffic. Come on, it's really worth it. Okay, thank you. That was the very first whole example completed, my lovely student, that you might be interviewed during your matriculation from your school board and in this whole staff, this board, this commissioner team. They might ask you. Remember, there are also external people apart from your school. And now I will give you second task that will base on photography, on illustration, by seeing pictures, or in the picture you will watch something, you will look at and describe what you read out of this picture. Try to answer the questions given to you from your examiner. First of all, I will give you the question, can you describe the photograph, please? And because you cannot see this photograph right now, I'll describe it to you very briefly. There is a young girl, just a child, maybe 5, 6 years old child, and there is also old woman, very old woman, between 80 and 90, aged, and sitting somewhere in the chair, wheelchair, probably. You are not sure because this is only a picture made, the breast high, and she's keeping something in her hands, the old woman, and the child very curiously watch something in a notebook or so, that the grandma possibly is keeping in her hands. Oh, all right, that's all. I don't want to review you more because that is the rest for our task. All right, we start. I am examiner for you, giving you the following question. Attention, please. Can you describe the photograph, please? And you are examinee. So now is your turn, is your role. So you say, in the photo, there are 2 persons, a little girl and a rather old woman. The girl seems to be about 5 years old. She's got short blonde hair and she's wearing a colorful striped blouse. The elderly woman looks about 90 years old. She's got short curly hair and it's all white as snow. Her face and hands are wrinkled. She's wearing a white t-shirt and some jewelry and fake glasses. She's sitting in an armchair or possibly in a wheelchair and reading something like a greetings card. The girl is standing right next to her and looking at it too. They are inside in a room, but I can't see any details apart from a white door. I think the old woman is celebrating something. She looks so nice and kind of touched. I think she looks happy that someone remembered about the occasion, whatever it is. And attention now, you get the second question from examiner. So I'm giving you this question to be raised. Do you think these two are family or not? Why or why not? And now, my lovely student, it is your turn. So I give you an example how you can respond. I think it is very likely that they are a great grandmother and a great granddaughter. They could be celebrating Grandmother's Day, for example. I guess the little girl made that greetings card on her own or with a little help from her parents. And now that her great-grandmother is reading it, the gift's waiting for her reaction and a thank you kiss. I think the girl is so interested and peeping so curiously at the card because she put a lot of work in it. On the other hand, who knows, maybe a group of kindergarten children is visiting an old people's home. Such very old people sometimes don't have their own families, and that's why groups of school children or even younger kids visit them to bring some joy into their lives. They sing songs, give short performances, recite poems, or dance. They make such cards and paper flowers and give them to those elderly people. I think it's great. Alright, so now, my lovely student, I will give you the next question relating to this picture, to this photo or photograph. What do you think? Can we learn anything from older generations? And now is your turn. I believe we can learn a lot of things from elderly people. Of course, we can learn some history from them. They tell us stories about what life was like during the war, how people lived, and what they did. They can still sing the songs from their youth. Our grandparents and great-grandparents survived the Second World War and have lots of experience, both painful and happy. I think they've seen and been through enough to know what really matters in life. They can teach us what is important and what is not worth worrying about. What is more, life used to be slower and more traditional. So our grandmothers can teach us some practicalities, how to cook and bake in a tasty, traditional way. There weren't any takeaways when they were younger. Another thing I can personally learn from my grandma is how to grow vegetables and other plants. If I ever wanted to try, she used to live in the countryside and times were tough, so she's a gardening expert too. All in all, there are plenty of things that we can learn from older generations. All right, my lovely students, or student, I have presented to you just basic level the whole set of task 1 and 2, so 2 tasks or exercises with 100 points each, 300 points in the first exercise of steerable conversations about obtaining and giving an information and relating events as well as negotiating and illustration of the photograph of the picture. All right, and now I will just take the second set with you on basic level and also exercise for you or task, yes. All right, and we start again with steered conversations. First of all, maybe I'll be speaking sometimes faster now that you get used to this matriculation, verbal matriculation, so you are being interviewed, remember that. You are learning to play to be an actor. You are learning to be an actor or become an actor on your stage. So you are now learning and training later on. Right, so the first task, acknowledge yourself with description of 3 situations. Your task will be playing the following roles. First of all, again, obtaining and giving an information. So, in the course of youth's exchange or youthful exchange with friendly school in Sweden, you will have at your home just a contemporary. That means a person of the same age as you, girl or boy, and before he comes, you must know something. You must obtain an information, a piece of information, or pieces of information. What time? First of all, what time he likes to or she likes to get up and go to bed to sleep. And number 2, what the most he likes or she likes to eat, or the best she or he likes to eat, and what she or he dislikes to eat. Number 3, what in Poland she or he would like to see or visit, right? Remember these 3 points or under points of this task 1 of stirred conversation or conversations. So you, my lovely student, are the questioned person. I am the questioning person for you. So you are examinee, I am examiner. So you will start now. And I'd like to get to know you better so that we get on as well as possible. We'll be living in one room, you know. I am a terrible sleepyhead, and you? What time do you like getting up? What about going to sleep? Do you go to bed early or late? And now, as an examiner, I am playing the role of that boy or girl and just give you a question. So you have now fulfilled your task with under point 1, at what time he or she likes to get up and go to bed, yes? And I will respond, I'm flexible. I think I like staying up late, though. All right, and now the second under point. What he or she or he, likes to eat and what are dislikes about his eating, concerning his or her eating. And now you will start, the student. Just like me, and my mom is asking about your preferences in food. What's your favorite dish? Is there anything you won't touch? And now I'm examiner, and I'm playing this role, so I respond. Tell your mom not to worry. I am not a fussy eater. I'll eat anything. Actually, I am quite curious about Polish food. And now, my dear student, we done it, what he or she likes and dislikes to eat. And now the next under point that I have mentioned to you, what in Poland he or she would like to see or visit. And your turn. I'd also like to know what you fancy visiting in Poland. Have you thought about it? Do you want to go to Warsaw or Krakow? Would you like to see anything specific? And now the boy or girl responds, I don't know really. I'll tell you next time, okay? Alright, and now we come to relating the events. Yeah, obtaining and giving an information to relating events. All right, now concerning the relating events, imagine that you are participating in the course of foreign language, and that is an English language, in the Great Britain, and your group organized an evening. This is an evening of poetry evening, where you took part And now you relate it to your host. And again, you get 3 points or under points. The first one is where this evening, poetrical evening took place. Number 2, how many